FedEx stole my shoes, eBay stole my money, and here is what I did about it. For those of you who are just now tuning into this story, make sure you subscribe, turn your notifications on for future updates about the situation and other sneaker related content. Just to fill you guys in a little bit, sold a pair of Yeezys on eBay. Apparently they never got scanned in by FedEx, so the buyer was refunded. I was charged for that refund and out pretty much double the value of the shoes at that point. And I've been following up with eBay and FedEx trying to get something made right on my end about it. Hadn't had a lot of luck until now. Where I last left you guys off with, I had about 48 hours for a decision to be made by eBay. Since then, the decision has been made and I've followed up with FedEx. So here's what happened. Basically, eBay stood their ground with me. I had them call me back one more time before their decision was made for me to plead my case. They didn't seem like they were going to take responsibility for it, even after uploading all of the supplemental documentation with the tracking numbers, the timestamps of when I dropped off the package of shoes and when FedEx took the package. So on this last phone call, I told the lady I've been on eBay for 14 years. I have 100% seller feedback. I've been making the company money. I literally promote eBay on my YouTube channel, showing people why it's the best way to sell sneakers online. All of the perks that there are to selling sneakers online. Reiterated the fact that I would never use a FedEx label if I wasn't forced to, and that I did my diligence to prove that I shipped the sneakers on time and that this whole situation was out of my hands. And she, like all of the other associates, told me that I needed to have that scanned in receipt from a FedEx store proving that I shipped the shoes. I pulled a card that I normally don't like pulling. I don't like threatening, if you will, if it really even was a threat. But I got to the point where I told her all of these things, why I wasn't lying. And I said, listen, I've spent enough time on this. My next phone call is going to be to a lawyer, and this is going to small claims court because it's about $700 in value. I've spent enough time on this and I'm done pursuing it. I've literally shown you all of the proof that I need to, and it's going to be a black and white court case. So she puts me on hold, comes back from being on hold and says, okay, your refund will be processed. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, it was that simple. Are we serious? So I left it at that, got a reference number for the call, just in case for some reason that refund wasn't processed. And sure enough, that amount was credited to my eBay account. So I did finally receive the value back from the shoes. Now, in the meantime, I uploaded that supplemental documentation to my FedEx case, which was reopened, thankfully. And they only took responsibility for $100 in value. They did send me a check for $100, which I guess in the end I made out, but it wasn't really worth all of the time pursuing all of this action. So I got the value back for the shoes plus $100. Still pled my case that $100 wasn't enough. You guys all know that Yeezys retail for $220 plus tax and fees. The value of the sale was almost $350. The buyer actually paid $370 some after shipping and fees. And they made the statement that eBay doesn't claim a certain value on sneakers, so they weren't going to be responsible for any value over $100. This is an issue that I think eBay needs to address because all of these sneakers that we're selling don't cap at $100 value. I mean, I've sold sneakers before that are worth $1,500, if not more. So what? If something were to happen on FedEx's end and eBay doesn't take responsibility for it, I'm going to be out $3,000, the value of the shoes and the shoes themselves, and I'm only going to get reimbursed $100. That's a pretty big issue. This is something that I'm definitely going to make known with eBay, that they need to at least acknowledge the value of the sneakers with FedEx that are being shipped. That way, if anything like this happens again, there's a way of getting the value back. In the future, I'm definitely going to be hesitant about where I drop my sneakers off at. I don't know what more I can do if I continue to ship through pack mail. I guess I'm going to have to either go to a FedEx store from now on or explore the lesser options of shipping on GOAT and StockX, which sucks because I'm still gonna have to find a store that I can ship those to. It's gonna end up being more travel time for me to get to a legitimate FedEx store that can scan them in, or I'm gonna have to explore other options. Maybe I revert back to selling most of my shoes in person. There is another store that one of my friends is selling at right now. I might end up going to them to consign, or maybe back to some of the other sneaker stores that I've sold through before. Just not too sure if eBay is the best option anymore. So if you've watched my videos about selling on eBay, make sure you have a FedEx store nearby that you can ship to. Otherwise, your sale is not totally protected. So at the end of the day, that's it. I did get my money back. Probably won't happen again if I have a similar situation, but the story gets crazier. So remember whenever I said that I thought FedEx had for sure stolen my shoes? I mean, all the fingers pointed directly at FedEx. No one wanted to take responsibility for it. After I pushed the issue with FedEx, I pulled kind of the same card that I did with eBay. I said, listen, if I can prove that this driver took my shoes, why can't I press charges on them? And they didn't really want to entertain that option. So after I got off the phone with them, I just kind of brushed it under the rug. Whatever, I got my money back, doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, it's out of my hands. I got my money back for the shoes, got a $100 bonus from FedEx. Probably wasn't worth the time, and it probably wouldn't work out in my favor again if all of these things happen in the exact same way. Moral of the story is ship at an authorized FedEx location or UPS location. Don't just drop your shoes off at a third-party parcel service. Do your diligence, get those receipts, get the scans, get the timestamps, all that, or else eBay nor the carrier will have your back. If you can and do all those things, then eBay's probably the best way to sell sneakers online. Thank you guys for tuning in and watching the follow-up on this story. Hopefully you guys learned something from this. I know I did for sure. We're gonna have some awesome short form content coming here soon, so make sure you tune into that. Swipe through those shorts. I'm gonna have a release guide dropping very soon for the month of June. But until then, thank you guys for watching, and do not forget, this is all about sneakers.